In today's video lesson, I shall be continuing with the line-by-line explanation of the chapter My Childhood contained in the main literature reader Beehive. Children, this chapter is an extract from APJ Abdul Kalam's autobiography, Wings of Fire. I told you that the first person narration is used in an autobiography, the use of personal pronouns I and my. We had already read the first paragraph during our live class, so I'll quickly recapitulate it for you. He was born into a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameswaram, formerly known as Chennai. I had also asked you to underline his father's name was Jainuluddin and he had neither had formal education nor was he a wealthy man. Despite these disadvantages, children, he possessed great innate wisdom. And when I say innate wisdom, it means that he was quite awakened and quite wise, worldly wise. Okay, worldly wise. And why was he worldly wise? Because he had gained much knowledge about the world from his experiences. Now, life is the best teacher, and your experiences that you gain make you worldly wise. Also, he was a true generosity of spirit. He had a true generosity of spirit. He was large-hearted, and all these values were inculcated by the other family members. His better half, his wife, Ashiamma, was an ideal partner. I do not recall the exact number of people she fed every day, but I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our own family put together. So he says that my mother was also very kind-hearted, and she cooked for the visitors, the people who came at their doorstep to ask for food. They were never denied. She fed them every day. I was one of many children, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. Children, if a question comes that you have to write a short paragraph on APJ Abdul Kalam, like I had told you, I had given you an activity wherein you had to write about your childhood experience, about something that you remember about your childhood days when you were very young, maybe 5 or 6 years old. You had even drawn your experience, right? Now here he is talking about his childhood days. What does he say? That I was one of many children. Now it was a large family, many members were there, and he was one of the many children. He's describing himself, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks. Children, when I say that undistinguished looks, please underline it. It means that there was nothing notable, there was nothing exciting about his looks. He was average looking, an ordinary looking boy. Okay, average or ordinary looking boy. Born to tall and handsome parents. We lived in our ancestral house. What do you mean by ancestral? Something that is inherited, familial property. Okay, inherited from the elders. So we lived in our ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. It was a fairly large pakka house. So please, it's a significant sentence over here, children, that they were not very poor also. It was a fairly large pakka house. You know the difference between pakka and kacha house, okay? Made of limestone and brick. So the modern houses are also made of limestone, cement, brick, right? So their house was also made of limestone and brick, and it was situated on the Mosque Street in Rameswaram. My austere father. Please underline, children, my austere. What do you think austere means? Let's read the sentence first. My austere father used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. So his father, he used to give instructions to the children that they should not waste their time or they should avoid inessential comforts. Means those comforts and those luxuries which are not very essential. It's okay. We should, draw a line. We should set our boundaries, our limitations should always be defined. Okay, so this is our limit. Let's not cross it. If something, whatever is there, we can lead a good life in it, so let's go for it. Let's not, he never believed in fulfilling the greed, only in fulfilling the needs. And this made him a very disciplined and austere, stern, or strict father. Children, austere, more synonyms could be strict, severe, harsh, stern, very disciplined. Okay, and he used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. Of course, children, they want comforts, luxuries, they feel tempted towards the things that are available in the market or by seeing the goods that others have. But then the father, he always told them not to indulge in these unnecessary comforts and luxuries. He always told the children to lead a disciplined lifestyle. However, all necessities or clothes, in fact, they were provided for, yes. But then all the basic necessities, children, they were fulfilled in terms of food, medicine, or clothing. In fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood. Means all the basic necessities, all the things that were required by a growing child, it was provided for, both materially and emotionally. Means the love that he used to get in the family was there, and all the essential things that was required was also provided for. So the last line is also important, children. I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. The Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. Here he is narrating an incident of his childhood days when he was 8 years old. And in the year 1939, children, what happened? The Second World War broke out. So broke out over here is a phrase used which means that the Second World War was fought in the year 1939. For reasons I have never been able to understand. Now, being a child, he could never understand the reason that time, and even now if we analyze that why these wars are fought, children, the real reasons behind wars can never be understood. It only leads to violence, bloodshed, and permanent separation, right? Is it required? Is it required? This is a question we all struggle to find an answer to, children. A sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. Now, what happened during the Second World War? There was a sudden demand of tamarind seeds that erupted in the market. Children, erupted over here means arose in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Mosque Street. Now, what does he say? That he used to collect these tamarind seeds and he would sell it in a provision store. Children, what do you understand by a provision store? It's a convenience store over here which sells, food items and additional items. So this is what we mean by a provisional store. You must have seen provisional stores in and around your house, right? So provisional stores. So what did he do? He sold those tamarind seeds in that provisional store, and which was situated on Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch him the princely sum of 1 anna. Okay, a day's collection, whatever he collected during the day, he's referring to the tamarind seeds, he would sell them and he would it would fetch him the princely sum. Princely means, children, a grand sum or a huge sum of 1 anna. Now children, anna was a unit which was used during the British rule, and 1 anna was 1/16 of a rupee. So you can imagine that even 1 anna during that time when the Britishers ruled us, it was a huge sum. So he is referring it to as a princely sum of 1 anna. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the war which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. So he used to listen to the stories of the war from his brother-in-law Jalaluddin, and later he would make an effort to locate those headlines, children, in the newspaper Dinamani. So it was a daily over there which was circulated, and he used to locate those headlines in that newspaper Dinamani. Okay children, you can see the image of tamarind over here. We just read about tamarind in the previous slide. So here you can see the picture of tamarind. Let's move on to the explanation. Our area, being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war. Now we had read, children, that he belonged to an island town of Rameswaram. So it was all by itself isolated and was completely unaffected by the war. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces. Now Allied forces over here, children, means the troops and the armies from different countries who fight on the same side in a war. Now they all are on one side because they are all united by a political agreement, children. For example, during the World War II, US, Britain, Soviet Union and French, these countries, children, they were joined in the war against Germany. So on one side of the war, Germany and the other countries were there, on the other, US, Britain, Soviet Union and French. Okay, these countries were there. So because British, they had already come to India, and they had spread their control over our country. So India was forced to join these allied forces, and something like a state of emergency was declared. Now during a war, children, there is a state of emergency. And what was the result? The first casualty came in the form of the suspension of the train halt at Rameswaram station. The first casualty, what do you mean by casualty over here, children? The first loss that was faced by the people was that the train that used to halt, that used to stop at the Rameswaram station, it did not stop anymore. The newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train on the Rameswaram road. So now from the moving train, bundles of newspapers, they were thrown out on the Rameswaram road between Rameswaram and Dhanuskodi. That forced my cousin Samusuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameswaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles. Of course, the bundles, when they were thrown out from a moving train, children, they could land anywhere, right? They could even get spoilt or torn. So somebody was required to catch those bundles, and Samusuddin, he was forced to look for a helping hand. Helping hand means a person or somebody who could help him in catching those bundles. So who naturally fit the slot? None other than little Kalam. So Samusuddin helped Kalam earn his first wages. See, I have changed it into indirect speech, children. Samusuddin, the cousin, helped him. Him over here refers to Kalam, earn his first wages. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride. So he can still feel that surge. Surge means the rush or the flow of pride in earning my own money for the very first time. So he felt that pride rush in his blood, for he earned his first wages for the very first time. Again, a very important paragraph of the chapter, children. Here, the innocence of the children, it has been described. So let us read it. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. Now, every child who is born, children, with some inherited characteristics, we pick up the values and characteristics from our family, from our parents especially, into a specific socio-economic and an emotional environment. Children, these socio and economic conditions, these are all external conditions that shape a person. But the emotional environment, the values, the habits, the characteristics, these are all internal factors that shape an individual. Okay, so yes, we inherit all this from our family. Whether they are external factors or internal, they are all contained in the family we are born in. And then trained in certain ways by figures of authority. The figures of authority, the head of the family, the father. So even Kalam, he had inherited certain characteristics from his parents. I inherited honesty. Please underline, children. I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father, and from my mother, I inherited faith in goodness. So I told you that his father was a self-disciplined man, right? He was strict, he was stern, always advised his children not to indulge in unnecessary luxuries and pleasures, right? So he inherited self-discipline and honesty from his father. From his mother, he inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness. Of course, she used to feed the people, right? Whoever visited or came to their doorstep. So that kindness, these virtues of kindness, then faith in goodness, all this he inherited from his mother. So did my 3 brothers and sisters, and also the other children at home. I had 3 close friends in my childhood. So he's talking about his friends now, children. Ramanatha Sastri, Arvindan and Siva Prakasan. All these boys were from orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. Now these 3 friends, children, they belonged to the orthodox, the superstitious Hindu Brahmin families. As children, none of us ever felt any difference amongst ourselves. Of course, this is innocence, children. The division of man on the basis of creed, caste, religion, all this the children were ignorant of. They did not know that such differences exist in the society. And on the name of religion, there is violence, there is bloodshed. So all these differences they were not aware about because of our religious differences and upbringing. Of course, if one is born in a Muslim family or into a Hindu family, children, their upbringing, their habits, their styles, their culture, custom, tradition, everything is different. In fact, Ramanatha Sastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, the highest priest of the Rameswaram temple. So, Shastri, belonging to the learned class, who make up the priest in the society, okay, the community of the priests. He belonged to that community and he was the son of the high priest of the Rameswaram temple. Later, he took over the priesthood of the Rameswaram temple, and later, after the father, the son, Ramanatha Shastri took up the priesthood of the Rameswaram temple. Okay, so the son, he took up the priesthood from his father. Now, Aravindan went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims. Again, everything which was related to religion, children. So, Aravindan, he came into the family business of arranging transport for the visiting pilgrims, and Siva Prakasan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. So catering, you know, children, catering business, isn't it? Arranging food and all. So he became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. So this was a little information about his three friends and how the children, they were all united together because of their innocence, because they were children and they had no discrimination. They did not discriminate amongst themselves on the basis of caste or religion. Children, I will stop the video lesson here. I will stop my explanation here. Go through the chapter once again. Go through this video, this explanation again, and then attempt the worksheet. Thank you.